Good afternoon, folks. Very happy to be at the One Manitoba Youth Summit here today. It's just really nice to see all these young people, high school students from across the province, sharing what their vision is for the future of Manitoba. And this is who we work for, all of us as Manitobans, right? The next generation. So for us, we've been doing a lot around recreation and education, the Universal School Food Program, 50 hockey rinks, 50 pools, more than 100 rec programs funded across the province. This is how we keep young people on a positive path, give them a say in their future, give them an outlet in the community, make sure that there's the support for them at school to succeed. And just very, very happy that we had so many people from Thompson, Morden, Dauphin, Winnipeg, everywhere, First Nations coming forward and participating with us today. So happy to take questions on that or on anything else.
What did you see from Manitoba's youth today?
I saw a lot of enthusiasm and optimism, which is great. Like each and every day you're going through your life and you got your goals and you're just trying to put things together, put food on the table, and then to take a second and to hear young people having an optimistic view of the future, even as they're going through all those things that you go through as a teenager, like figuring out who you are, maybe a little bit of anxiety and nervousness on the social side. At least that was my case, but the optimism really shines through. And then some serious topics too, like about what are we going to do to make sure that they have that educational and recreational support for the future too. All right, other topics, I guess.
I had a question about Winnipeg. Stephen Ways, another statement that he hasn't received enough help yet. In terms of the province, I just want to ask, how can the province continue to support Winnipeg?
Yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to everybody who's affected. Like, it was a really tough time during the holidays, and we want to see people be able to go home. For our part, we were there in the incorporated community of Cross Lake, making sure that there was an emergency generator in place. That ended up turning not only to emergency power, but also the warming facility for everybody in the whole area. And then, of course, technical expertise, tradespeople, all sorts of other assistance that we've provided. So, we're one province. We all want to work together, and we were there through the, I guess, most challenging part of the emergency, but still want to see people get help to be able to go home.
Mac's leadership is saying that the province and Hydro won't provide any funding or reimbursement for damages. Do you have any comment on that?
I think we just want to see people be able to go home. We've offered a lot of assistance. When the power went out, we brought emergency generators in. You have a really interesting case study between the incorporated community of Cross Lake and then the rest of Michigamak. And, when the provincial response was there, the power generators were on the ground. Heating facility was in place. I think if you look at the response, one of the lessons that we're taking out of it is the way we respond to some of these emergencies is a lot more comprehensive than how the federal government responds. So we're trying to figure out, for God forbid something like this happens in the future, or really any emergency, it seems like Manitoba's response is always really strong, so how can we just make it that way for everybody regardless of where you live in the province?
On canola, China is going to take the 100% tariff on Canadian canola meal and pea imports off starting March 1st. What do you make of that?
Well, some of the canola products getting these tariffs lifted is great news. This is what the industry has wanted for a number of months now. So we're seeing good news on canola, but we still need to see a bit more work on the pork side. Canola is huge for Manitoba. We've got a ton of exporters here, not to mention all the farmers in the province. So for all those folks, this is a positive step forward to have better access to one of the biggest markets in the world. But at the same time, pork is big in Manitoba too. So we're going to keep working with the federal government and keep pushing forward, and hopefully we see some positive news on the pork side as well too soon.
I saw the clip you had posted about affordability in the budget.
Yeah.
Is that going to come with cuts as well? Like how do you kind of balance? Is there going to be cuts?
Well, we're just focused on what everyone's focused on in Manitoba right now, which is the cost of living. Everybody in Manitoba is thinking about grocery prices, rent, mortgage, and the utilities that you have to pay for. So this budget is going to bring help for everybody who's thinking about the cost of living. In government so far, we cut the gas tax. We froze hydro rates last year, but now we got to do more on groceries. So we started with freezing the price of milk. We're taking action on competition. More competition in groceries means lower prices. And then on budget day, March 24th, you'll see some more steps to put money in your pocket and to lower some of your costs.
I guess, can people expect to see cuts though? If you look at Nova Scotia, they have a $1 billion deficit and they're making some cuts there. Can we expect to see similar measures here in Manitoba?
The cuts that I want to see are cuts to your grocery bills when you go to the store. And so we're going to deliver. The PCs throw up their hands and they say, oh, there's nothing we could do when inflation was 8%. We came in, we cut the gas tax, and then inflation came down. So we cut your costs then. Hydro rates went up every year under the PCs. We froze hydro rates for a year, cut your costs there. But what's the number one issue for so many people? It's grocery prices. So we want to take action on that as well. A couple small steps we've taken. We're going to bring more in on the budget when we bring budget day. So put it all together. It's going to help you and your family just rise to what's going on with the cost of living.
Yeah, Premier Kinew, SCO has called on Parliament to end the second generation cutoff in the Act. Is that something that the province can help out with at all?
Well, I think what we've decided to do as a province is to support Indigenous nationhood. And so the steps that we're taking are about supporting communities who want to get land back, to support economic development, bring language back so that young people can understand how our ancestors saw the world, culture back so that people can be proud and have that background to be able to go succeed in the rest of their lives. And then, of course, just the health of people as well, too. So I know there's a lot of issues out there. As somebody who has a status card in Manitoba, the Indian Act, I'm no fan of it. But at the provincial level, our actions are going to be about land, culture, language, and the health of people. And I think that's probably the best way Manitoba can help things along.
Premier, I just want to ask about measles as well. 76 cases last month, 135 so far in February. What kind of concerns do you have? Any solutions here?
Yeah, I think we should all listen to Dr. Rusin and his encouragement of getting vaccinated. I've got a friend, a few friends actually, with newborns, and it's really concerning for families like that whose children are too young to be vaccinated. And they're hearing all this stuff about measles. So I think that's part of the message is it's not just about you, it's about the whole community and the impact that we have. So I really do encourage people to get vaccinated. Dr. Rusin is a trusted source of information. You can listen to what he has to say. But go talk to your family doctor. Go talk to the person who delivers care for you and your family and ask them about a vaccination. And I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you to get a measles vaccine for yourself or for your kids. And when we look at the big history of humans on Earth, there's a few big steps that we took towards making people healthier and making lives longer. One of them was to stop using the bathroom in the same place where we eat, and then vaccination was the other big thing we did. It's at that level of health. So this is a very basic step. I know it's become politicized. Put the politics aside, just go talk to your family doctor. If this is somebody that you would listen to in terms of, you got a bump on your skin or you have a virus that you need to get some meds for or whatever it is, talk to them about the vaccination too. And you don't have to listen to the Premier, listen to your family doctor.
This is a question about the capital planning region. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this morning RM St. Clements also announced that they will be withdrawing from the capital planning region. I was wondering if you have any response to that, because I believe right now we're at 8 out of 16 original municipalities. That's about half of the municipalities still remaining.
Yeah, so this is freedom. This is what it means to have freedom. You vote for your local elected representative, and then they get to decide what you're going to do in your home community. And if you don't like it, you can vote for somebody else next time. But for now, while you voted for that group this is them listening to the people. We brought in the Freedom Bill to allow for communities like St. Clements and others to be able to do this. The previous government of the PCs, the current leader and Heather Stephenson and everyone that they have, they wanted to push a top-down approach on everybody, get into the big government plan, and that's it. And we said no. People deserve freedom. It's not up to the province to get involved in these municipal decisions, so we just opened it up Some are going to go with the capital planning regions, some are going to leave. But the bottom line is this: if you want that plan, great. Go out and convince people. Go out and convince people that's the right idea. But we're not going to use the stick of the provincial government to get everyone into that plan. You have to go and persuade people that it's the right idea for them in their local community. And so I think this is probably just an example of local leadership listening to what their constituents want, listening to what their ratepayers want. And so for me, more freedom, stronger Manitoba. We'll still find a way to do the big things together, but we have to do it by winning support and bringing people along. That's the best way to make it sustainable.
With the about 8 municipalities left, I'm wondering, is this even a viable thing to do anymore? Because it's like 8 of them left out of 16, right?
Well, you know, this is Brian Pallister's legacy. I'm trying to fix healthcare and lower your grocery costs. Brian Pallister and the PCs can defend that legacy. I'm here focused on healthcare. I'm focused on lowering the cost of living. And when it comes to these big planning things that the previous governments wanted to do, we're not going to spend our time on that. We're just going to give you the freedom to decide who you vote for at the local level, and then they're going to make the decisions for your municipality.
If this kind of a withdrawal continues, would you ever consider just scrapping the Planning Act's mandate, I guess, entirely?
Well, I think we've taken the step of bringing in that freedom bill, so now people have the freedom to decide how they want their local municipality to govern itself.
Anything else?
Yeah, the cardiac sciences program. So following Stacey Ross's death, the same mom at this ER, she thought that she had a heart attack within 11 hours. Wondering where things are at with staffing up the cardiac sciences program and where things are with that.
Yeah, my heart really goes out to this family. I had a chance to speak to some of her relatives, and I know that they're passionately advocating for improvements to healthcare, which we're very supportive of. So the Cardiac Center of Excellence was completely gutted by the PCs. So Abhi Khan, Kathleen Cook, they were part of the government that destroyed this program. And we're fixing it. So when you're talking about the repair, it's a $22 million investment that's needed to repair this thing. When you come out on budget day, March 24th, you're going to see investments like that in healthcare. It's going to help to address situations like this in the past, but it's also going to make sure that in the future, St. B, which functions as our heart hospital, if you will, in Manitoba, is going to have the resources that it needs to take care of people from across the province.
So will funding from the new budget be directly going towards that program?
I think that's what I'm telling you, yeah. But like we'll spell it all out in great detail on budget day. Yeah.
And what do you make of the Conservatives being found guilty of conducting a partisan event to uphold employee union?
It's too much corruption in the PC party in Manitoba. Like I swear, like and it's all the same people. Like their leader was part of the old cabinet, and you know all their critics are people who were staff in the previous government, or they were the actual people in government. So there's too much corruption in the PC party of Manitoba. A bunch of them were fined for breaking the law during the election. Now you're finding out that they were also in government breaking the election rules too. I think that the PCs have a long way to go because it's still the same old corruption, same old people around the table, and that's not what Manitobans want. You know, they're busy like trying to break elections laws, finding new ways to get sanctioned. What about the cost of living, guys? Why didn't you focus on that? You know, why didn't you focus on healthcare? That's what we're focused on. Healthcare, cost of living, too much corruption in the PC party.
What are your thoughts on Connor Hellebuck going to the White House and accepting the Medal of Freedom from Donald Trump? I know a lot of people aren't happy about that.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean that it's tough because when I watched the game, I was like, all right, the way they honored Gaudreau at the end was all right. I can live with that. It's something nice that's happening. And then, yeah, when I saw Hellebuck standing up at the State of the Union, it's emotional reaction given everything that Donald Trump is doing. So first, I would say Team Canada forever. The women's team and the men's team. I love them. You know, one shot is a little bit to the right. Another shot is maybe a little bit harder, different outcome for the game. That's just the nature of sport. Second thing that I would say is that the women's team for America deserved a lot better than they got. both from, you know, the men's team, but also from their president. And so shout out to the women's team. Yeah, again, they came out on top of that game. I can live with them, and I just think, yeah, everybody should be proud of what they represent. And then with Hellebuck, I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan, so I'm going to bite my tongue about the Trump stuff, but win a Stanley Cup for our city now.
Great. What did you make of the phone call in the locker room? And
Well, I think I kind of...
I'm just wondering what you made of that reaction.
As a Team Canada diehard, I did not go online and watch all the stuff of whatever Team USA was up to. And from what I hear, it's probably for the best, because apparently they weren't being, you know, maybe the most exemplary of whatever. So overall, the women's team, like, I love Team Canada. I wanted to see the Team Canada women's team win. It was, you know, heartbreaking to see them lose. But we know that Team USA women's hockey is a strong, strong force. I can live with that. But then to see them be disrespected by the president is not good. So I guess maybe the most important way I would look at that whole situation is this. I'm a hockey parent through and through. And why I'm a hockey parent is not because I have, you know, dreams of NHL greatness in the future for my kids. The reason I'm a hockey parent is because I want them to learn life lessons. I want them to learn how to play on a team. I want them to learn how to overcome adversity. And I want them to learn how to be respectful, no matter what's going on around you, win or lose. And I think on that count, I think the Team USA men's team failed us, right? Like, that is not the kind of behavior we want young boys, young girls, young kids who are playing hockey to have when they grow up. We want, presumably, young people who are playing hockey to actually be like, you know what, Mr. President, that's not right. I'm sorry, we appreciate the phone call, but we love women's hockey, and we love the athletes, you know? And I'm just making up certain words of what they could have said, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. We support sports. It's what we're doing here because it's part of an education of a well-rounded person in our society. And while, you know, we could all have things to say about the game and who could have back-checked or who could have scored or this and that, at the end of the day, I think the thing that we really would focus on is, you know what? Sports are about building character. There's definitely some lessons learned here about what athletes are expected to do to help our youth gain character for the future generations. Yeah.
Just one last one, sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
The Youth Summit, is this going to be like an annual thing?
Right now, it's being planned as this was like a one-time event, how we've been planning, but I think subject to doing our debrief on it, I actually think it's a really positive experience because you have kids from the high schools in Dauphin, Morden, reserves around the province, all over Winnipeg, northern Manitoba, all coming together. They get to share their perspectives with us, but then they also get to connect and see what other young people are thinking about in the rest of Manitoba. So I think it's a great initiative. So, you know, not 100%, but based on the success we saw today, I think it's definitely something worth doing again in the future. Yeah.
Hi, one question. I can't
Yeah, for sure.
But notice that the signage is only in English, and given that French is also one of the official languages of Canada, is there any intention on committing to having the French language more prominent in events like these and throughout government?
Yeah, definitely we have a responsibility to do that. Alors, les affiches bilingues sont quelque chose que j'ai toujours appuyé en tant que le Premier ministre du Manitoba, même en tant qu'un candidat. Mais on devrait avoir des affiches bilingues ici aussi. Il y a des écoles françaises ici. Alors.
Merci.
Yeah, merci à toi.
Great. Thanks, folks.
Okay, I'm glad we got some French in too. Are we leaving this one out? Okay, awesome. Thanks for your patience.